If you're just starting off with photography and you don't know whether to shoot RAW files or JPEG files on your camera, then this video is for you, because I'm going to explain the benefits and the disadvantages of shooting both RAW and JPEG files. What is happening, people? My name is Gorav and I'm a travel and a wedding photographer based in Birmingham, England. So just to simply explain the difference between a RAW file and a JPEG file. A RAW file is exactly what it says on the tin. It is a raw version of the image you capture from your camera, and what that means is you have a lot more control over this RAW file when you're editing in Photoshop, Lightroom or any other editing software of your choice. So a RAW file is an image that hasn't been processed by the camera in any way, and it holds a lot more information. A JPEG file, on the other hand, has been processed by the camera and is compressed and therefore holds a lot less information. That means if you want to edit this JPEG file in a photo editing software, you have limited control. You won't be able to push the boundaries as much as the RAW file. Now, to demonstrate this, I'm just going to take you into Adobe Lightroom Classic and edit a photo that I captured both in RAW and JPEG. So here we are in Lightroom Classic, and on the left hand side here we have the RAW file. It was captured with the Nikon camera, so it's .nef file, but it is a RAW file. And on the right hand side here we have the JPEG file, which was captured with the same camera. It was captured with the Nikon D750, if you want to know. This is an image I captured in Hong Kong at night time, as you can see, so there's very limited information in the background, but we're going to see what we can do to bring that back. We're going to start off with the RAW file first of all. So let's just go into develop. When capturing this image, I wanted to ensure I retain the highlights, so my priority was not to lose any of the detail in the highlights over here, and see what I could recover from the background at a later stage in post-processing. So I'm quite happy the way this looks at the front here, but what we're going to do is we're going to select the graduated filter, and we're just going to make a selection like this and increase the exposure to see what we can bring out from the background. Let's just go up with the shadows as well, a little bit more, and already you can see how much detail I've been able to bring back from the background. So let's just go to the before and after. That's the before, that's the after. Let's just zoom in a second. Before, after. I'm just going to make sure that we've got the settings for the graduated filter exactly the same. So the exposure is set to 272 and the shadows is set to 31. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing with the JPEG image. So 272 and shadows to 31. Although this may look okay on your screen that you're watching on right now, I can promise you that there are a lot of unwanted artifacts in this image. So let's just zoom in over here, and we're going to go to the before and after. So that's the before and that's the after. And as you can see, we can see a lot of this purple digital noise in comparison to the RAW version of this image. Let's just get both of them up side by side so you know exactly what I mean. So here we are. This is the RAW file on the left hand side and the JPEG file on the right hand side again. And as you can see, we have a lot of this purple digital noise and a clear halo effect around this light here. The RAW file isn't perfect, there is noise, but in comparison to the JPEG file, it's light years ahead and it holds a lot more information. There's one more thing I'd like to do. I just want to change the white balance on the RAW file and see what happens. So I'm just going to go to the develop tab again, select the RAW file and get the white balance selector tool and select this building in the background. Let's just zoom in. That looks fine. Let's do the same thing with the JPEG file. Get the white balance selector tool and select the same place for reference. And let's just zoom in here, and as you can see, it's pretty much beginning to look like Tetris. It's very, very pixelated. This is not what we want. Whereas the RAW version is absolutely fine. There is noise, but it's not obvious digital noise. So in summary, you have a lot more control over the RAW file when you're editing at a later stage as opposed to the JPEG file. So if you were to capture images like this, you know you will be able to retain and recover a lot of the information at a later stage in post-processing. So we know the benefits of shooting RAW files. What's the benefit of shooting JPEG? Well, one of the benefits of shooting JPEG is that it's a smaller file size. So for example, if you're out shooting all day and you didn't realize you are about to run out of space on your memory card, you can always switch to JPEG. But if you have to shoot JPEG, you want to make sure that your image that you're shooting is close to the final result that you want it to be. The other benefit of shooting JPEG is that you can view JPEG files on any computer without having to use a special sort of software, whereas a RAW file, you will need to convert them RAW files from RAW to JPEG. So if you have to literally take out the memory card from your camera and give it to somebody that hasn't got access to a software to convert the RAW files to JPEG, then it is ideal that you shoot JPEG. Having said that, most of the cameras nowadays shoot both JPEG and RAW at the same time, so you rarely have to worry about that. So that's it for this video, guys. I didn't want to make this overly complicated, so I wanted to keep this video short and sweet. If you enjoyed this video, do give me a thumbs up and drop me a comment below if there's anything I haven't covered, and I'll be happy to answer them questions for you. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one.